Hello, Scapers! RuneScape 3 is an amazing game, but I can hear a lot of people thinking, okay Storm, but what is this and that? But most importantly, what is all of this? I'm obviously talking about the interface where I do think that RuneScape 3 does need a bit of work, but until then I'll just try to show you what is possible and make you a little bit more familiar with the interface and the amazing customizability that it has, but also try to not make it too overwhelming. But before we do that, we recently passed 150 subscribers already. It's absolutely insane, thank you so much. But my goal is still to reach 250 by the end of August, so if you do like this type of content, feel free to subscribe and like the video. Again, thank you so much, guys. So in order to make this very authentic, I started a new account to see what new players start with. So here we are. This is what you start off with as your interface, basic default interface if you start a new character. Alright, to start off you want to press escape on your keyboard, or you want to go to the settings icon on the bottom right over here. And that will show you this little window. Now one thing you'll see is load layout right over here. And there you'll find 4 presets from RuneScape themselves, which is default, new player, retro and social. Now all of them aren't very good. So in order to change some things around, what we want to be doing is you want to press escape again, or again go to the settings icon on your bottom right, click on it and click on settings. Now you want to go to the controls tab. You'll probably end up in the gameplay tab, but you want to go to the controls tab. You want to scroll down a little bit and you'll see lock interface customization. This is default bound to L. You can change this to whatever key you want. But what this will do, if you press L, you will see there's like a little lock that shows up and it will unlock or lock. Now what this does, it will show you that you will be able to just drag everything from your interface. For example, the minimap, the backpack, the skills. You can drag your prayers, for example. You can make a separate tab from that. You can drag it back in. There's a lot of different options that you can do. And this is how we create our custom own interface. But I can hear you thinking, what is a custom interface and how do I even start with this? Well, let me just give you a little example. So this is not going to be, the entire interface that I'm going to show you. This is just a little quick example. So for example, if I want my backpack to, be right over here, and I want my minimap to be on the left side, and my activity tracker to be up here, and for example, I want my skills in a separate tab like I showed you, and this is like the interface that we want, and we want to have our own custom interface. So what you can do then is we can press escape, or go to the little settings icon over here, and then you can press edit layout mode, and then you can save the loadout. As you can see, I can choose whatever loadout. You can have 4 custom loadouts. So let's just do it at 1. Then it will ask you, in order to save and override everything that is currently on the custom 1, we're gonna save. It will say load successfully saved to my custom 1. We're gonna save and exit, save, and now we made our first custom preset. So for example, if I would go back to new player, it will revert to what we had before, right? But if I now click on my custom 1, it will show you the preset that we just made. This is a very simple and basic explanation of it. There's a lot more that goes into this, but this is just like a very, small and I hope easy to understand way of presets, or how presets work at least. Alright, now that we know the very basics of what interfaces are and how to save custom presets, this is what my mains interface looks like. If you want something like this, I'm going to show you how to do that. But before we get into that, there's a few things you want to change in the actual settings themselves. So what you want to be doing is you want to go to escape, settings. We want to go to the gameplay tab. We want to click on appearance. And then you want to hide the title bars when locked. Now what this is going to do is if we exit this real quick and press on the L key, so the lock key, you will see that these bars of, you know, the indicators of what the actual tab is, they will disappear, as you can see. So this just opens up a little bit more space. If you don't want that, you don't need to do this, but this is, you know, what I prefer. The second setting we want to change is we also want to go to the settings tab. We want to go to gameplay and appearance tab, so the exact same location, and you will see transparency. Now, if you drag this all the way to the end, you will see that it is very transparent at that point. I personally don't really like this, but I know a lot of people who do really like this. So this is 100% a personal thing. It really is what you prefer. So I like to keep it like just a little bit to the left side because I do like to see the actual tabs themselves. But again, this is 100% up to you. Alright, in order to get the additional action bars, as you can see over here, what you want to be doing is you want to go into the settings again, into the combat and action bar, scroll a little bit down, and there you'll see display additional action bars. Now you just take whatever presets you have, it doesn't really matter, this is just, you know, how to get these. There you go. And you will see they will pop up just like this. Now you can just drag those around again. I like to put them on top of my, you know, actual action bar. And there you go. That is how to get the additional action bars. So now for the guide to my own interface and my own preset. Again, this is by no means the best interface or anything, but if you do like the interface that I'm using, this is a guide for it. But obviously, again, you can change things around to whatever you like, or not use this guide at all. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is the minimap, which is on the top right. I'm going to take my skills tab and bring it all the way underneath it. There we go. Next thing I'm going to do is have my summoning familiar tab, which you can find over here. We're going to click on that and it will open up the familiar tab. I'm going to drag that right underneath the skills tab, but make it a little bit smaller. There we go. If, for example, you don't see the familiar tab, again, what you can do is you can click on the ribbon setup options and you can drag it down. So, for example, if it's here, you can just, you know, go to the familiar one and just drag it onto your own ribbon, and there you have it. The ribbon itself I'm going to put in the top right. So over here, the time, you can put the time wherever you want. There we go. Make it a little bit smaller, but still I want to see all of them. So we want to have the group chat list next to the skills tab. This is to make groups. Underneath that, I'm going to take all of the power tabs, so melee, range, magic, necromancy, the defensives, and the prayers. There we go. We're gonna put that all in the same tab. Again, it might end up in like a different tab. For me, it always ends up in the skills tab, but you just drag it down. There we go. And I'm gonna make it a little bit wider than the familiar tab. There we go. Next to that, I'm gonna put our backpack. Here we go. And I'll make it as such that you have 7 columns. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If you want to have this fixed, you can go to settings. You want to go to gameplay, interfaces, to inventory, and here you'll have dynamic backpack column. So I'm putting it at 7. You can change this to whatever you like. What this is going to do is, for example, if I put to 11, it will try to, you know, maximize everything until it has 11. You can also put it to 3, so it only has 3, but I prefer 7. So again, you can change this around the way you want to. Next to that, I'm going to have all my ability bars. So I'm going to put the main ability bar on the very bottom. Make sure if this is not maximized, make sure you maximize this. And then you just put all the other action bars just on top. Alright, so the next thing we're going to change is the worn equipment. We're going to drag this in between these two. There we go. We're going to make it a bit bigger and then adjust it to the alt chat height. There we go. Now this is going to depend how big everything is going to be. So backpack, I'm going to drag so it just aligns with the worn equipment. magic as well, so we can make familiar just a little bit smaller and turn the tab of our powers a little bit higher again. There we go. So it just aligns. Now what we want to do is, because if we press L, you will see there's a gap over here, all right? So what we want to be doing is we're going to press L again, and we are going to adjust it to the height of the backpack and the worn equipment. And now the gap will be in the bottom, but this is not a problem. And I'll show you why. So if you press L now and it's locked, you will see, well, there's like this little bottom and it's not very nice, right? But what we can do is you can press escape, edit layout mode, advanced options, scroll all the way down to game view. There we go. And this will have this little bar of your game view. Now, what is game view is basically, you know, everything that you see in the game. So we can make this a bit smaller. And you want to make sure that your game view is not behind the minimap, for example, or behind your backpack or behind your skills. So what you want to be doing is you want to get rid of all of this. There we go. And we're going to make it just a little bit smaller. I want to make sure that this just is fitting in between, you know, everything of our interface. So there we go. We're going to save and exit. Save. And there you have it. Now there will be no things behind this. There will be no things behind your backpack or whatever. I know there's a black bar over here, but you can still change things around if you want. So you can make your worn equipment a bit smaller. You can make your backpack a bit smaller, change your game view again. But I am, you know, I got used to the black bar at the bottom. I don't really mind it because it doesn't, you know, I don't really pay attention to it too much. So I don't really mind. But that's about it. That is my own preset and it should, you know, end up looking like this. So the most important thing that we need to do now is obviously save the preset. So what we're going to do is we're going to press escape. We're going to go into edit layout mode. We're going to save the loadout to my custom one or save it to whatever custom you want. But I'm going to use custom one. Click on it and it will ask you to save. We're going to save this, save and exit. There we go. And now if we go into, for example, new player again, and then we go into my custom one, there you have it. This is the layout that we just made. So one more thing I'm going to get into is the bank. So if we go to our bank booth, you will see this is the default size and location of the bank. What we can do is if we go to edit layout mode, we can go to advanced options and you will see there's quite a lot of options here, right? Same with the game view. The game view that we just used is also over here. I didn't get into this too deep because there is a lot here. So I didn't want to overwhelm. But one important one is bank. So if we press bank, you will see this is the layout of the bank. If you want your bank to be super big, you can just drag it all the way like this and just make it a lot bigger. If we save and exit, there we go. You will see that your bank is a lot bigger now. So as you can see, there is so many options with the interface, but I really do feel like it can be a bit overwhelming for new players and some things are just kind of hidden. Alright, so this video is a bit longer than you might be used to from me, but I just wanted to cover the basics because I do think it's very important and I really want players to have a somewhat basic understanding of the interfaces. Again, I know there is quite a lot that isn't shown in this video, but I really did not want to make it too overwhelming. So I do really hope that this helped you out. If it did, feel free to give it a like and subscribe if you want to have more of these videos. And again, thank you so much for watching and I'll see you on the next one. Okay, goodbye now.